Abdullah Rothman is the Executive Director of the International Association of Islamic Psychology. Please, sir.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's an honor, but quite a big burden to follow Professor Malik Badri. But I think really that's what we're all doing. We're all just following in his footsteps. And what I want to talk to you about today is how we're, inshallah, all doing that together. Wallahi, the other thing I wanted to say is that when I was sitting here, I was nervous at first to come up and talk, and then just listening to Professor Badri, it's like sakina came over my heart. And I think this is the blessing that we have in being around people like Professor Badri, and why it's so crucial and so important to benefit from him and to preserve his legacy. And so just being in his presence is a blessing enough. I just wanted to express my gratitude and invite you all to bask in that essence as well. So I wanted to talk, Professor Badri talked about the past, present, and future. I want to talk a bit about how we are dealing with that with this association. So this conference was organized as a sort of launching this association, the International Association of Islamic Psychology. And really we see our mission as building on the past, that all of this legacy that Professor Badri was talking about, harnessing the power that we have in all of the work, the beautiful, amazing work that's happening now, and the energy that we have in this room, and then using that to propel into the future towards new growth and development, and really evolving this Islamic psychology. So I'm going to talk a little bit about why now, and then what we're doing, how we're going to do it, who we are, and sort of where we're going. So why the IAIP now? The reality is that it's because now is the time. And that has been really clear and evident in this past year. There is this amazing surge of energy and focus on Islamic psychology, to the point where it's like this palpable feeling that the time is now and people are ready for it. And this is evidenced by the work that we're trying to do with association. The doors have just been opening that we couldn't have imagined it happening so easily. And this makes it very clear that this is Allah is opening these doors. The fact that this is happening now, all of a sudden, is because there's this time. Because Professor Malik and I, in 2009, we came up with this association idea. This is almost 10 years ago now. So we came up with the structure, we had the idea, we were ready to go with it. Even this logo that you see behind me, we created this almost 10 years ago. And why? During that 10 years, very little happened. The doors weren't opening. It wasn't because we weren't trying, but the reality is that there's a time for it, because it has to be about Allah making it happen and not us making it happen. And this is another thing that I really, really respect about Professor Malik, is that in all of this, since the beginning, it was never about pursuing an agenda. It was never about putting forth something that we want to do. It was always about just doing something that is pleasing to Allah and really bringing the light of Islam to the world, what it has to offer in this domain of psychology. And I think along that process, I have learned a lot from Professor Badri, because I think there's times when I wanted this to happen, right? My nafs said, this is something good. This is something good. It should happen. We need to make it happen. But there's a wisdom in allowing it to happen and allowing it to be a work that has barakah in it. And wallahi, from the very beginning, the fact that Professor Badri, his he has ikhlas. If you know of him, his wisdom is beyond what we read in his books. MashaAllah, he produces brilliant ideas and understanding of connecting our tradition with psychology. But beyond any of that, really the value that he has, inshallah you get to know him, is that he has a clean nafs. He has a clean heart. Because he's an example of this work. Right? This work is not just an academic exercise of talking about concepts and theory. If it's not actually working on the heart, then what are we really talking about when we're talking about Islamic psychology? And so what we're trying to do with this association is to preserve Professor Badri's legacy, but not just him, is that he was carrying on the legacy from our righteous forebears. We have this history, and this history is not just knowledge, it's a way of being. It's a way of unlocking the knowledge of the heart and really doing this work of cleaning the nafs, cleaning the heart. And this is what the work has to be about. And so this association, me and my colleagues who have sort of been tasked with this job of putting it together, is really just to honor this legacy, honor this tradition, and keep it with this sincerity and this ikhlas. And by doing that, I think we have seen that there's no way we could have imagined this much opening in 1 year. So about 1 year ago, just actually as of 4 days from now, it would be 1 year that we actually registered the association and officially got things moving. And now in that 1 year, we have, I will give you a report on everything that's happened, but there's no way that human beings alone can do this. There's definitely some medet behind it and barakah in it, and I think it's because of this sincerity, this ikhlas that it's seeded in. And so really my job, if it's a big task, inshallah I can, Allah protect me and protect us in keeping that sincerity, but our job is to just continue that. This idea of preserving the legacy, something that I was taught when I became Muslim 15 years ago. One of the things that I was taught was to honor the tradition, honor my elders, but honor this legacy, because there's something humbling about carrying on a tradition. And it's naive, I think, to think that we are innovating something new. I think it can become a self-deluded notion that we're coming up with new ideas. What we're doing is we're coming up with the innovation that we need to be doing is making our tradition, making Islam relevant to the time and place where we are. But this idea of bringing new knowledge that is talked about a lot in academia, this is not what we're doing. We're bringing old knowledge and we're renewing it and we're making it relevant to today and in the context of what people understand and how they can make sense of it and utilize it for today. And this is why I believe psychology is a really good platform for that. But really within what we're doing, it's Islam. It's not innovating something new. It's building and developing. Really, this vision that Professor Malik had in this association that we're trying to uphold is about bringing all these new minds and new hearts to this work that he's developed and his colleagues have developed, and a lot of these colleagues are here in this room with us today, alhamdulillah, and we'll be hearing from them over the next few days. But the vision with this is to bring all these people together to develop this and evolve Islamic psychology. It's something, the knowledge is there, but it's about evolving and developing and all doing this as a collective. It's not one group of people doing it, it's all of us doing it because it stands to benefit all of us, not just the people in this room, not just the Muslim Ummah, but the entire world. And I really, really believe that Islam has something important to offer this world, and we need to bring it we need to bring it to the attention of the world so people can benefit from it. So I want to tell you a bit about how we're planning to do this. So our mission is very simple. Advancing the development and application of Islamic psychology to enhance the understanding of human psychology and promote health and well-being for all people. So this is a much wider vision than just for Muslims. And it's not just, we're not talking about the psychology of the Muslim people. We're talking about the Islamic understanding of the human being, the Islamic understanding of psychology. This makes sense to Muslims because we have this language. But really, people stand to benefit from this knowledge, regardless of whether they're Muslim. There's something that is crucial in highlighting what Islam has to offer in psychology. And this is really the focus. This is why it's about Islamic psychology, not an association of Muslim psychologists. And so within this work, we see this as having three main objectives underneath all of the work that we're doing. The first is reorienting the epistemological worldview that Western psychology is built upon. So Professor Malik talked about this, saying that what we know as psychology is not necessarily in alignment with our Islamic paradigm. And so the first thing is to reorient and recognize that we have a different paradigm of understanding psychology. And the second objective is then to delineate this paradigm. To not just say the Western one is not working for us, we have to put effort into really articulating what it is that we're talking about. What is this paradigm? And this is an ongoing effort that has already started, but it's amazing how much people are bringing to it to develop it. And this needs to continue. And then once that paradigm is firmly established and we have an understanding of this is the psychology we're talking about, this is the Islamic paradigm that we're working under, then it's about developing ways of utilizing that and putting it into application so that it doesn't just stay in this high level of theory, but actually developing new approaches of making that help people, actually cleaning people's hearts, changing people's insides. Not just staying up here, but making it work for people. So this is the objectives pretty much in all what we're trying to do. And the way that we do this, the how, is in these four areas of focus. So the first is education. And I'll go more into detail about each one of these. And then certification, publication, and research. Everything that we're doing is fitting into these four areas. So education. We have developed three tracks, essentially. Certificates, diplomas, and degrees. So there are different ways for people to enter into this process depending on where they are and what level of education they're looking for, whether people already have a background in psychology or counseling, psychotherapy, and it's about reorienting them to this paradigm, learning the new learning approaches and techniques. And then also for people who are starting out, this would be the certificate route, but then for people who are starting out from scratch, like Professor Badri said, he's waiting to have a whole generation of people who are from the beginning seeing this new paradigm, opening up new avenues and levels of being able to conceive of this because they're not influenced by this other Western approach or paradigm of psychology. So we do that with diplomas and degrees. So we've partnered with institutions around the world to offer these education programs. Right now we are working with Al-Nilain University in Sudan and Cambridge Muslim College in the UK, and where you are right now at Zaim University in Istanbul. And so these are our main partners that we're working with. The certificate track, we have Certificate 1 and 2. Certificate 1 is the introduction to the theory of Islamic psychology, reorienting people to the paradigm, and really starting from scratch of sort of people who have, it's an introductory level, so at this point it's open to pretty much anybody who is interested, not necessarily just in clinical counseling psychology, but people who can benefit from this, medical doctors, a whole range of people who can benefit from this, understanding this paradigm. And then the certificate 2 is taking that more into clinical applications and training on actual therapeutic approaches in counseling and psychotherapy. So we've already been doing the certificate 1, and certificate 2 we're starting. The first one will be April 14th in Cambridge, and so somebody, in order to do the certificate 2, would have to go through the first one. I wanted to show you a video, just a short 3-minute video on the course that we had this summer here at Zaim University. It was the certificate 1 course, so it was a 5-day intensive course. And it was amazing. It was such a blessing. We have some of the people here in this audience there, and I hope you get to meet them. You'll see them in the video. But Professor Skinner has been teaching this similar course in Cambridge for the past 4 or 5 years, actually. But now we've developed it, and Professor Badri was able to teach on it, as well as myself and Professor Skinner, and we really developed it out, and we're able to utilize some of the resources that we have here in Turkey. So I want to play this for you. What we're talking about in this week is an actual fundamentally different paradigm of how we see human psychology, not Muslim psychology.
The purpose of this course is to give that foundation so you can go out with your feet more firmly planted on the Islamic paradigm.
Here we are Muslims, we know what man is from the Islamic point of view.
The model that Brother Abdullah created, it was just phenomenal to see an Islamically oriented model that not only included intellect and emotions and thought, but it included the soul, it included the nafs, it included all these other things that exist but are finally being accounted for in a therapeutic clinical intervention.
Everything else is going to be affected by anything that's wrong with the self, including the body.
So the Prophet ﷺ came with a lot of very principles about medicine and health. What we want to do is we want to be able to satisfy our fitra, our basic nature. This is one of the principles of hikmah. And when it is corrupted, then we have aberrant behavior.
I went to an Ottoman health museum, and it was beautiful to see how within Islam we approach the whole self as one. We don't split psychological problems up with medical problems.
Islamic psychology, the treatment of what we can say mental health or psychology from an Islamic perspective, is not some new innovation that we're coming up with now. It's something that is within our tradition, and there's history to it. It's been lost. It's our responsibility to preserve this, is to understand our tradition, to know what it has to offer the world.
But in the bottom line, the message of the Prophet was Islam.
Bring the spiritual into your therapy. When you are sitting there and talking to the client, remember, if the Prophet was in your place, what will he do?
There's a complete science of the soul that is a foundation within the Islamic tradition. All we need to do is learn from our tradition and bring it into the context of modern psychology.
It was amazing to go through texts by Imam Ghazali and really just contextualize that knowledge to today, contextualize that knowledge to case studies.
We can find the solutions of diagnosing the problem, of understanding it, as well as the treatments from the Islamic source, and that gives an imperative to developing Islamically-based therapies, an Islamically-based understanding of human nature and of mental health.
The idea is to offer training to people that want to go down this path. This course is part of that education piece.
It's not just about psychology, it's about how we apply the values in our day-to-day experiences.
It's been an amazing experience. I took a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience, a lot of skills. Also, a lot of networking and connection with brothers and sisters from all over the world.
So it gives you a little picture of what it was, but really it can't give you the feeling of what the people experienced there. I see smiles and nods of people that were there. There was this, the energy from that week was really something special. And I think that people still talking about it, and it was really energized us to be motivated to bring this to more places, to more people, to have more access to it, and really to develop this, have more people teaching on it. So this is really our goal, and mashallah, it's already taking off. We've made, like I said, it's been amazing how much has happened. And as I think Professor Dr. Balut maybe had alluded to, but I wanted to have the honor to announce this, here at Zaim University in the fall of 2019, this next academic year, we'll be offering a master's degree in Islamic psychology. This is something very big, and we've been working on it for a long time, and we got the approval. The thing that we had to negotiate was the title, because we want it to be called a master's in Islamic psychology, but as much as people are ready for this, they're not quite ready for the title to be so blatant. So at least here in Turkey, that's the situation. But so all that means is that it's going to be an English-taught master's degree in psychology, but we'll be teaching an Islamic psychology curriculum from the ground up. It'll be a 2-year master's degree, and there will be more details to come in terms of accreditation and all of that, but that will be starting, inshallah, in the fall of 2019. Alhamdulillah. And that will be both theory and practice. So it will be a practical for people who want to actually practice counseling, psychotherapy. Did I miss one? Yeah. So before that, we also have a diploma degree that will be starting in 2019 at Al Nilain University in Khartoum, Sudan. And this is something that Professor Badri has been in the works for quite some time. He's had a relationship. We've developed the curriculum, and it's going to be starting, inshallah, within a number of months. And what that will be is a 1-year diploma in Islamic psychology with an optional transfer to a master's degree by writing a thesis. And so we also have the blessing of on-site there. We have the Malik Badri Center for Islamic Counseling and Psychotherapy. So people will actually have a practicum situation where they'll be able to have clinical practice on-site while they're in their academic training. And then for students who are showing progress, we will give them an ability to write a thesis and upgrade to a master's. So these are the exciting developments in education. The other thing is certification. So we certify educational institutions, individuals, and clinics. So the institutions, like I said, these institutions that are implementing our curriculum, or also other curriculum that may come from other sources that we would approve based on the content. And these, like I said, are the 3 right now that are certified. And then based on people going through this training, individuals will get certified. So if somebody goes through the certificate program or the degree program, they as individuals can get certified as practitioners. This requires not only education and a practicum, but also supervision. And right now we already have a number of people on this list based on Professor Badri's training and working with these people over a number of years. So you can actually find this on the website on IslamicPsychology.org. there is a place where it says at the bottom, find a practitioner, and there's a whole database that you can search by location and geographic region. And then there's also a place where people can apply to become certified and find out how to go through the certification process. And then we certify clinics. So right now we have 3 clinics around the world that are certified by the IAIP. Like I said, the Malik Badri Center in Sudan at El Nilain. Khalil Center in the US, there's with branches in Chicago and the Bay Area and New York and I believe in LA now. We have several members of the Khalil Center here, so you'll hear more about them and you'll hear a presentation on that as well. And then in the United Kingdom, in Bradford, Ihsan, you'll also hear more about that. There's a certified clinic with our very own Professor Skinner overseeing that. And so we hope to expand this to other countries and other clinics as people go through the certification. And I want to say the idea behind the certification is not some sort of club where we are aiming to regulate and have this. The idea is to have a standard of practice, and to have that standard of practice be connected to the ulama. So it's the thing that is so difficult is when you enter into the world of academia and you're mixing religion, academia, and the world of science. It's very difficult to maintain Islamic integrity. And we see this happen a lot where things get watered down because you want to make an effort to work within the system of academia, and then what happens, we start going back into the lizard's hole, right? Like what Professor Badri talked about, wanting to be aligned with what the professionals in the real scientific world are doing. And so the idea with certification is to have a standard that we set that maintains Islamic integrity while also maintaining scientific and sound knowledge and sound practice. And so we do that by having people that have oversight over this process. And then publication, we have a number of things in the works. An Islamic psychology journal. So we have a journal, book publications, and articles. The Journal of Islamic Psychology will be, inshallah, coming out in 2019, and the papers from this conference will be the first edition. We haven't yet designed it. These are not the design covers yet, but that's all still happening, and it will be inshallah soon after this. You'll be able to read the proceedings from this conference in the first edition. And then we currently have 3 publications in process. We have the book Psychology of Personality, Islamic Perspectives, which has been out of print for quite some time, which is really a key publication in the field of Islamic psychology that a lot of people don't know about and have not been able to read because it's been out of print. And so we've been working with, thankfully, Yasin Muhammad and Amber Hawk are on our advisory board, and they have given permission for us to reprint it. So that's in the works. And also Yasin Muhammad's book on Fitra, which is a fantastic book that really gets at sort of understanding the epistemological foundations of Islamic psychology. These will inshallah be coming out also in 2019. And we are working, the board of directors is working on an intro to Islamic psychology textbook that will be the foundation for our education programs. And so this will be like an entire overview textbook of Islamic psychology in theory and practice. And then research is an ongoing process. Our 3 main goals with it are just really establishing foundational knowledge in the field, really encouraging this ongoing pursuit to continue. Like I said, it's not innovating new knowledge, but it's innovating new ways of understanding this knowledge and making it applicable and bringing it to the world. And so this is an ongoing effort that we are both encouraging and employing all of our resources and people to follow, and then disseminating that research in the form of publication. I just wanted to introduce you quickly to our who we are. The board of directors is really just the people that Professor Malik has assigned us the task of assembling people. He selected us based on his confidence in us, and inshallah we can live up to that. It's a big, like I said, it's a big burden, but at least I have faith in my colleagues. I'm still working on it. And so these are the people you've heard from Professor Malik, you're now hearing from me, and over the next 2 days you'll also hear from Dr. Ilham and Professor Rashid. I look forward to having you meet them. They're incredible. And then our advisory board is a sort of bigger scope of overseeing the decision making, making sure, like I said, that we're connected to the correct knowledge. So we have people not just within psychology, but within other domains. We have Sheikh Abdul Hakim Murad, also known as Timothy Winter, who is an amazing scholar of Islam, and so people like this to help us keep us connected. Dr. Amber Haq and Yasin Muhammad were supposed to be here, but unfortunately neither of them can come, but we'll hear from Yasin this afternoon by video. And we have Dr. Muhammad Khadili is here. You'll hear from him from Pakistan. El Zubair Bashir in the front row, like Professor Malik referenced with the turban and the garment. And Dr. Nasim is in the US, and Umar Kasule is in the field of public health from Uganda. So it's a great team. The other aspect is the fellows. The IAP fellows are people who have been making significant contributions in the field and really advancing this work, and really shown that they are at the forefront of innovating new knowledge in the sense that we mean it by bringing new insights into this work. And they have a input in the association by voting on decision making, again to keep everybody sort of a checks and measures balance type of situation where we're utilizing the global network of people who have been doing this work to keep all on target. And then really at the heart of the association, like the name implies, it's an association of professionals, and so it's about the members. And so we have different levels of membership for different people. Student members are people who are just in any graduate or any undergraduate or graduate degree that's in psychology or related field. And a graduate member is one who has a graduate degree and is, but not necessarily working in a professional capacity at the moment. An associate fellow is somebody who is working in a professional capacity in psychology or related field, either clinically or in teaching. And then an honorary fellow is somebody who makes a significant financial contribution. Currently, we have 75 members, and mind you, this is only in 4 months of launching. We launched in June, and we have 75 members from 19 different countries. So it truly is an international association. Just to give you more of a breakdown, you can see that half of that is taken up by the US and the UK, which I think speaks to, and we'll hear from our colleagues about that tomorrow, but there is a real surge in the US and the UK for Islamic psychology. And you can see the UK has a big percentage, and then 17 other countries represented. So our goal is to continue building membership globally across the world. And you can join from our website, IslamicPsychology.org, at the top, just by clicking on that, and you can select the different membership. It's very easy. You just fill out a form, and it's a very minimal payment. For student membership, it's $15 a year, and the benefits are being connected with this network of amazing people, staying connected. We have an IAIP newsletter that will come out that will give people access to developments as they're happening. We'll also give people opportunities and resources to get involved in research and teaching opportunities. And then discounts. For instance, you got a 40% discount for this conference if you are a member. And just really staying linked to this work and really all supporting one another. And then you can find out the events that are happening by clicking on the events tab. And right now you can see you're all already here at the conference, so mabruk for that. Then the ones that we have coming up in January in the Islamic University in Islamabad, we're doing the Certificate 1 course from January 26th to the 30th. And then in Cambridge, April 14th to the 19th will be the first Certificate 2 course for everybody who has graduated from the Certificate 1. And then we will be offering, inshallah, we haven't come up with the date, but doing the course that you saw the video about, doing that again here in the summer, because that was such a great success, and there's such a beauty of having that connection to the Ottoman Health Museum here. The last thing I wanted to say is like I said, the doors have been opening amazingly for this work, and it's because of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and not because of us, not because of money. We have no funding. All of the work that has been happening is by barakah. Wallahi, the amount of support that we've gotten just in people power and volunteer, and this gracious university who has brought out all of these amazing presenters from all over the world, has hosted us here. Support like this is what's making this happen, but not because we as an association have a source of funding. Our intention is to have the work speak for itself and have the doors open. We're happy to be doing this work because we feel utterly compelled to do it, and we feel like it's the most important thing to be doing in the world at this moment. I think I can't think of a better cause to support, and that's why I have spent literally every waking hour of my life for the past couple of years dedicated to this project. And I invite everybody here to support this work, not just for the work itself, but for yourself, for your families, for the community, for this world. The work that the world needs to be focusing on right now is the work on the heart, bringing back the knowledge of the heart, not only to psychology, but to the world, not only to Muslims, but to the entire Bani Adam. And I think we stand to offer this within the context of Islamic psychology more than anything else. We do not have a religious agenda in this project. We're not trying to push Islam. We're trying to bring to the world the light and illuminate the wisdom of the Islamic teachings. And this is really the mission. And I think this is why I implore you all to help support us. If you don't have money, to support, there's so many other ways to do it. Help us find funding. Help us find good sources of funding with people with ikhlas. We don't want any funding that's just going to propel our vision. We want it to be clean, right? Because this is really for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and nothing else. So, but what I'm asking for you is just to get behind this cause in whatever way you can. And I think everybody here has a way to support it, even if it's not in direct material resources. Everybody has a smartphone, I'm assuming. Unfortunately, I would tell you to take out your phone and follow us and post and everything, but I don't think there's internet in this building at the moment. So when you get a chance, please follow our social media accounts. My colleagues, who are a little bit more senior to me, aren't familiar with this platform. I myself, at age 42, am also not really familiar with this platform, but thankfully we have volunteers who are helping with this just to get the word out. This is the language people speak, and we're going to have people actually live tweeting and posting and all of this during the conference. So please use the power that you do have to help spread the word. Let people know of the work we're doing, and that we need people involved and we need support. And so this is the hashtag that you can use. And I would just say that we're going to take a lunch break now and Jummah, but I just wanted to give you a very quick overview. You'll notice in your schedules that the next 3 days was structured around this theme. So today being focused on the past and the classical Islamic tradition and what that has to offer. Tomorrow being focused on all the work that's really going on right now. And then on Sunday we'll be talking about the future. So all of the collaboration and how we can all work together and band together as one to propel this thing forward into the future, and not being in competition or at odds with one another, but really how can we make this a communal effort and collaborate and build together to, like the name of the conference, to evolve Islamic psychology. This is something that we're all doing together, and we invite you to join us in this project, and we're really, really blessed and happy to have you all with us this week, and really look forward to getting to know each and every one of you, inshallah, throughout the next couple of days. So thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.